So when we're doing web development, we're coding the experience and then we're also working with the data in the experience. But what's the difference? Like, what's code doing that data can't do, and vice versa? So why don't we come here and we can start looking at a more concrete example. So we've got our quick menu, and this is sort of the final view, right? You plugged in all your data and you actually get your menu output, and that's what you can share with all of your customers. And the way I kind of like to think about it is actually using components as an example here. So over on the right-hand side, we have our components, right? And I've just duplicated a couple of them. And if we look at this, they're all sort of inheriting the original value from the parent component. Now, we've got mozzarella sticks and we've got a $20 price, which a little outrageous for mozzarella sticks, but here we are. And it's not very useful for us in presenting a realistic experience. It becomes much more interesting if we can actually put in some more realistic examples here. And this is kind of the difference between code and data. So code is the literal structure here. In coding languages, we'd probably use HTML to actually model the two text fields that we have here. And then we would use CSS to style it in this way to make it bold and to have the different fonts families and things like that. And that is what the code is doing. It is doing the structure or the wrapper of the component. So that way we can plug data into that and generate something that's actually useful. So if we come over here, notice we're using this component 6 times kind of across the menu, but we're plugging in data that's much more relevant to the experience. And so that's like the difference. Code is like the structure. It is the actual thing that represents the element to the user in the user interface. Data is the information that is then plugged into that component and actually ends up being shown to the user here. So that's like the real big distinction between data and code.